Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another video. Today's a pretty exciting day for me. Or for all of us, I would guess, I would hope. Today is boss day, is how I've been thinking of it in my mind. Today is the day we tackle pretty much all the super bosses. I come into this woefully unprepared. And I've just loaded into a save file that I prepared long before this LP started, okay? In which I was grinding an awful lot in Final Fantasy X to get my characters to max stats. So we're going to do various things today. We're going to start off by showing off all of the Monster Arena creations and bosses, and also how I leveled. First, let's talk about how I leveled, alright? You'll notice here, straight away, that Wakka has 99 sphere levels, Tidus does, so does Riku, okay? This is a lot of sphere levels. You haven't seen me get anywhere near there before. What might be more impressive to you is if I go to the sphere grid of one of these characters, say Wakka, and I zoom out, you will notice they have been through pretty much the entire sphere grid. Wakka has, Tidus has, here you can see his different colours here, except this area here, not the entire sphere grid, I will clarify. Yuna has been absolutely everywhere on the sphere grid. Riku has been absolutely everywhere on the sphere grid. And the other characters have not. Lulu hasn't, however, she's basically right at the end. She did have Ultima for a while, don't worry, we'll show that off. Kimari has had like a really weird path. This is my original play file, okay? So he started with Lancer and he actually went for Steel and stuff when we got to the Mian High Road on Riku's path. Then he came up here, then he went on to Tidus's for Haste and Hastesia, eventually breaking through into Auron's for Strength and stuff. That's what I did with him. Auron, I've already explained why he sort of drops off late game, and so he didn't do very much either. But these four characters, Wakka, Tidus, Yuna, Riku. These guys are going to be my crazy heavy hitters. We'll look at their stats in a second. First, what I'm going to do is show you how we level. Actually, no, let's start with a bit of action. Let's come and speak to the Monster Arena guy. If we chat with him, he says now, "You've captured every fiend. I knew I was right picking you. I've always been a good judge of character." This side quest is now complete, okay? So if we have a look at our items, we can sort them. These are pretty much all the items I'm prepared to get in Final Fantasy X. I probably won't show you guys the item screen much, if ever, after this in the LP. So this is basically all the stuff. A lot of it we've talked about before. Some of it may be stuff that I've missed. Here you'll see we've got 56 dark matters. Many of the bosses I'm about to show you in the Monster Arena have a rare chance of dropping dark matters. You get 99 for completing basically all of the Monster Arena stuff, if I remember, and you can use that to customize and stuff. And now I've got an extra 56 while I was grinding on things. If we keep going down, anything else really interesting to talk about? Clear spheres here. These are purchasable from the Monster Arena guy. They are only added to his wares on his item list right at the end of you finishing basically everything else. This clears a node from the sphere grid. You'll notice I've got some. Now what that does is, let's go over onto Auron's path, say. Auron's over here, he's going backwards up through Wakka's thing. You see here, there's a strength node, which raises his strength by 2 points. Well, actually, you can get a much stronger one that would raise his strength by 4 points. So what we do is we buy these clear spheres, these really end-game items that you get from completing all the areas, and you use it. And now Auron's strength, has gone down by 2. But if we replace that now with, say, another strength sphere, maybe we've got one. Actually, I don't think we've got a single one, but say that was a magic defense one, right? Now we use it, it becomes +4. And so in that way, you give everyone bonus stats. Now, by doing that, I've actually just destroyed the stats on many of my characters, I'm pretty sure, which we'll get into in a second. But let's just go into a fight, shall we? Now, the way I'm going to do this episode, the next couple, there's going to be an awful lot of cutting. I want to show you guys the monsters, general things they do, but we're not going to be watching the entire fight, so it's just going to be way too long, okay? I promise you. So, in the spirit of wanting to get back to the main story and actually finish up the LP, there'll be a lot of cutting. But, so here you can see all the areas in the game. Last time we saw the Omega Dungeon, we didn't have stuff, but now we've got 10 of everything. Same for Inside Sin, which originally appeared as unknown, of course, because that's a bit of a spoiler, right? Imagine the first time you come to the Calmlands and you see there's an area called Inside Sin. Would be pretty bizarre, right? So once you've got all of these, you basically unlock everything for area conquest. So each of these monsters here unlocks from finishing, getting all of the stuff in Besaid, for example, will give you the Strut of Arvis, and all the stuff in Kilika will give you the Malaboro Menace. So what we're going to do is have a fight. We'll just quickly whiz our way through this list. And as we go through the list, I will show you guys different things that our characters have learned, and just cool things. So as you can see here, this actually looks like one of those giant zoos that we saw in Besaid. You notice straight away all of my characters are moving pretty quickly. That's because they all have auto haste on their armor. I'll show you the final armor and stuff like that once we get into the Dark Aeon stuff, probably. So, they all have auto haste on them. They all also have 9999 health, right? We could use break HP limit. I've described this before in the LP, where that would let you go 99,999 health. But because of the way the final weapons work, and the fact that you can't heal that much, this would simply mean that, we get low on health and we end up doing a lot less damage. Basically, if you don't use break HP limit, but you instead use like protection stuff on your armor, you will never get one shot as long as you have all your stats maxed out by pretty much anything in the game, and so it's just preferable to use. We also have the final weapons, and we have Tidus's final Overdrive. This thing I kind of want to only show at the very end of the game, would be pretty cool. But we're going to use it right now. So this is called Blitz Ace. You get it, I believe, from using his other overdrives a total of 100 times. Let's check it out. See what kind of damage we can do to this boss. And these bosses are deadly. Unfortunately, you will have missed a lot of the progression here because I'm just so strong. You'll see I'm doing 99,999 damage every single hit. This thing does hit less than attack reels. And each individual hit is more prone to hit for less than attack reels. But you only need to do the little mini-game thing at the very end. You'll notice Riku there threw the ball to us. That is another affection mechanic thing in Final Fantasy X. The woman that throws the ball to you, it can only be the girls that throw you the balls, but the one to throw the ball to you is the one who likes you the most. So Riku currently likes us most, just by the way of this all working out. Here's an attack reels. If I get this right and I get 2 hits, 2 hits, 2 hits, this will do 1.4 million damage in one turn. Probably gonna kill the boss. We shall see. And I'm not sure what overdrive modes my guys are set on right now. But yeah. So that's a demonstration of our current power. How do you think we'll fare against Valifor? We'll see. We didn't get any AP there. You notice the 2 items I got from this were Dark Matters. That's actually a rare ward, as I've explained. We got 2 because we got the overkill. And so yeah. Anyway, that's the first mob. We will move on now to the second. I'm going to have to be really careful, guys, because I want to talk to you about a lot of stuff. And yeah, I shouldn't. So here we got Ambushed. He's a Malboro. He'll probably use... So he's got Putrid Breath. This is probably an upgrade of Bad Breath. But let's see what happens to our characters. Well, Yuna and Waka got hit really hard. They have a lot of they have a lot of statuses on them. It's true. But Tidus didn't get hit by anything. It just came up immune, and that's because Tidus has something on his armor called Ribbon. This gives him immunity to every single condition in the game. It's incredibly powerful, almost necessary for the Dark Aeons and stuff like this, but it costs 99 Dark Matters to craft onto something. So you get given 99 as a reward, and then it would take ages to grind the rest. I've only got 56, as you can see. So I've only given one of my guys Ribbon. If I start dying against these Dark Aeons, which, may I just clarify before we go into this, I have never in my life killed every single Dark Aeon in this game. I've killed many of them, but never killed all of them, never killed the boss at the very end, right? So if we end up failing and having a lot of game overs over this little marathon we're going to do here, it'll probably be because of the Ribbon thing, because I've done the least I have to do. Anyway, so what we'll do is we'll open up with a remedy on Yuna, because she's going to have a turn next. And then Yuna can throw a remedy at Waka. The other thing is, though, everyone has everything on the sphere grid, so check out all this stuff. And it also costs Yuna only 1 MP to cast all of it because of her final weapon. So, you know, I could, instead of throwing waiting items, cast Azuna. Even Tidus could have casted Azuna just there. And now it's Waka's go. So here, check it out. Look, Waka's got all Lulu's black magic. Absolutely everything. Including this ability here, called Ultima. So let's cast this. This is something I haven't used yet in the LP. Won't be something I'm using against the Dark Aeons, so may as well get my chance in now. More demonstration of my team's power too is, yes, this guy got a go, but that was only because of an ambush. Now look up at the ATB Gorge. See? When's his next turn, guys? I don't see it anywhere on there. Let's scroll down. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it anywhere. This is because we have max agility, 255 agility, and on all of our armor we have auto haste, so we are the fastest we can be. This is crazy, and think about this fact, it doesn't even matter that he's immune to slow. All we have to do now is start quick hitting. And if all anyone ever does is quick hit, it's going to be crazy. Well, we got Yuna here, so we're going to want to cast Holy, right? Because that's what she's best with. Wrong! No, Yuna's stats are all maxed out, so Holy is no longer her best move. Yes, she's got very high magic, but that doesn't matter. She has max strength. She is just as strong as Tidus and Waka here. Let's have Yuna quick hit. 99,999 damage. Isn't that bizarre to see? And so this is what I've been trying to talk to you guys about. Basically, you may as well just attack, right? This is the thing. This is basically all we'll be doing. Quick hit, quick hit, quick hit, quick hit. You'll notice it does cost a fair amount of mana for Waka and Tidus because they don't have 1 MP cost by default. That's why Riku is also very strong for us. Riku has mixes that she can throw on us that give us, you know, 1 MP cost for the entirety of these fights, and then MP doesn't become an issue. So yeah, that's pretty cool, right? Let's do another fight and demonstrate some more of our strength. Let's go to another area of conquest. Let's fight the Kotos. This guy's actually amazing. So, if you can imagine, right, it takes a long time to complete the entire sphere grid on a character, not just getting the sphere levels, but actually think about the items themselves. You know, the power spheres and speed spheres that we really haven't given a crap about for ages? This guy counters, by the way, because his jukes are up, so it will take us a bit longer to kill him. You'll notice there that he actually just physically attacked. Waka only took 299 damage, and you saw Protect flash up on him. This is something else on our end game armor that I've crafted for everyone. We all have Auto Protect. So, one thing, unfortunately, this LP doesn't demonstrate. When you first try and fight the Kotos, when he attacks your guys, he will hit for like 9,999 and just kill you straight away, every single counter, and it's a real struggle. But then when you max your defense out, you see it reduces the damage you take massively. Going from 9,999 damage to just 291 damage is a huge, huge change, and it's the only thing you can do to compete with the Dark Aeons in terms of their strength. So yeah, back to the sphere grid thing. I almost forgot what I was talking about there for a second. You notice we're critting loads as well. This is because we have very high luck. Now, with the sphere grid, it takes a long time to get all of those levels, but it also takes a lot of those items, the actual default spheres. So, what you can do to remedy this is fight the Kotos here at the Monster Arena. This is one of the enemies I killed the most of. He's not particularly difficult once you get your stats high enough. But look at the items he gives us here. He gives us 40 Healing Springs. Now, Healing Springs aren't very useful to us, but do you remember right back at the start of the game when I was using stuff like Extract Ability on Kimari? You can use stuff like Extract Power, Extract Speed, Extract anything you like, and from a single encounter get 40 of those spheres. And that's really useful in rolling in those spheres so that you can actually max the sphere grid out very quickly. I must have killed the Kotos tons of times just to get my characters as high as they possibly are. The only type of sphere you unfortunately cannot steal from this guy in this way is Fortune Spheres, because there is no such thing as Distill Fortune. And for that, you have to do something else, which we'll get to. Next monster, the Kuralina. So this is one of the cats, as you can see. Let's demonstrate a new ability. Let's have a look. Flee, we've seen. Steal, we've seen. Use, cheer, pray, blah, blah, blah. Pray, if I cast it, you would see, would do terrible stuff. Jinx, I think we've seen. That lowers their luck. Spare Chain, we've seen. Sentinel, we've seen. Threaten, Provoke. I think we've seen pretty much everything. Copycat we haven't seen, so we can do that in a second. Quick Pockets. Now, this is swiftly use items. So, you see, like, the item command down here? Quick Pocket is, like, your quick hit version of that. Late on Riku's Sphere Grid. Stuff we haven't seen. Obviously, there's no reason for me to do anything, but, you know, we'll throw a Holy War at this guy. I don't know. For no reason at all. There you go. But if we do that, and now we go over to Waka, Waka can copycat Yuna there. And he will also throw a Holy Water at the Kuralina, for example. Or Tidus can quick hit. And then if Yuna didn't even know quick hit, she can at least copycat and she'll repeat the previous action, as you can see. The only time this won't work is with Overdrive. Speaking of Overdrives, I did talk about this before in the series. Right at the end of Tidus's path was this ability here called Entrust. So we use that on Yuna, and you'll watch the Overdrive Gorgeous. Or Gauges, as people have been telling me for so long. Tidus lost it all, but he gave it to Yuna, as you can see. And so this is the idea there. We'll do some more next fight, but basically we're just going to quick hit this guy to death. I guess this was the guy for completing Mihen High Road? Question mark? Someone did come up with a pretty interesting idea. So we've got 6 shining gems there. About how you can earn money as well. You can buy empty equipment in Kilika, apparently. And then you can use some of the items that this guy gives you to craft like HP plus 30% onto those items. And then you can sell it all for massive profit. That's a good way to earn money. I didn't talk about it in the series before. So here's the Jorgemund we will fight. And this is the guy from Jose High Road. Evade and counter there, and we crit again. So what else do we have to show you guys? Well, there is some more special stuff. One thing I never talked about special is most of the special abilities early on in the game. What is different between skills and special, right? What is the difference? Well, skills are usually like specifically attacks, like they're modifiers to attacks. You actually attack someone, do damage, it just does a bonus thing, okay? But also these all tend to cost MP, while specials don't necessarily come with an attack, and they don't cost MP either. While the end game special things do start costing MP, as you can see. So we've got Threat and Provoke. Copycat we just showed. Let's use Double Cast. So Double Cast is cast 2 black magic spells in a row. I believe this doesn't actually have an animation itself, but we can double cast, say, Flare. This is an ability I never really used against anyone. We saw Seymour using it on us, so it's been there in the series, but check it out. 4,000 damage. Now, you'll notice my magic isn't doing that much damage. Why? Because I'm never going to be casting magic against any of these bosses, or the Dark Aeons anyway, and so as a result, I never needed to max my magic stat out. So not all of my stats are maxed. Not all of them. Just most of them. And the ones that are very important are maxed, which I'll show you. But yeah, so magic damage isn't maxed, and we don't really have to worry. Every single attack is a crit, and this is because my luck isn't maxed, but it's high enough that there is no chance I'll not crit, except against, you know, a very few bosses, which we'll get to when we get to. So that guy dropped Supreme Gems too. Those were those really endgame items we could only steal from Sin. Here's the Cactar King. Cactar King has appeared in previous Final Fantasies. In 8, he was like this huge boss, and once you beat him, he became a summon. I believe that was the Cactar King. Anyway, this guy I think has like 100,000 needles or something. Maybe it's still only 10,000. 10,000 would be enough to kill us. So let's look at some new abilities here too. This is Nab Gil, okay? So Nab Gil is, oh wait, I haven't even shown you guys Pilfer Gil. Okay, so Pilfer Gil is you steal stuff from an enemy. So here you go, Pilfer Gil. And apparently this guy doesn't have any gil at all. So there you go, 10,000 needles. And despite our max defense, it will still one-shot us. But there, Tidus immediately Phoenix downed Waka. Why did he do that? Because everyone has on their final armor Auto Phoenix. So the only way my team will ever die is if all 3 of them get nuked all at once, okay? Unless that happens, we just Auto Phoenix. And as long as we got a Phoenix down in our inventory, that's it. You guys may be wondering, how the hell are there any bosses that could beat us with these kinds of stats, this ridiculously OP stuff? Well, you shall see. And actually looks like this guy's countering, which I was not expecting. But even a counter that one-shots us every single turn, it's not going to do anything. So, you got Pilfer Gil. Where the hell is Nab Gil? Is it a skill? It must be a skill. There you go. So, and this is basically the Mug version. Oh, he's dead. So, there you go. That's an overkill. And if he had Gil, we'd get it back. Often, you don't get that much Gil, but it may be worthwhile using it. On the Expert Sphere grid, you get that stuff so late in the game, though. It doesn't really mean much. It doesn't do much for you. So let's find monsters. Almost done with the area conquest first page. Here's the Espada. Getting a bit later into the game now. I would guess this is maybe Calmlands. I can't remember. So here's the next one, Full Break. This was that special ability, 99 MP to cast it, right at the start of Auron's Sphere Grid and hidden behind level 4 locks. So you have to finish Auron's whole grid and then go back to the start of it to unlock it at the end of the game. This thing just puts all the breaks on it. It's the same as Auron's Overdrive, Breaking Blade, except without the bonus damage and that you can cast every single turn if you like, regardless of Overdrive. So that's pretty cool. Now, one of the main reasons I have done this with Yuna in particular is because Yuna's Aeon's stats scale with her stats. So not only is Yuna like a crazy beast, but every single one of her Aeons is pretty much a crazy beast too. There we got 2 rename cards. I don't think those are items we've really talked about at all in the game, but they let you, like, if you renamed your Aeon, if your little brother was playing the game and he named your like Valor for Ass Face or something, and you've always hated him for that, finally you can get a rename card and you could rename it. Here, we'll go with the Abyss Worm. This definitely seems like the Beacon Owl thing, right? Different color. Now, mostly what you find in the Monster Arena are enemies that look a lot like... There was a unique counter animation for Waka there, by the way. Only does it on very slow enemies. Here, this guy's so slow, you'll notice we just get a bazillion turns, so it's just a quick hit city until he's dead. So, most monsters in the Monster Arena, like, they're just the same things you've seen before. They're just stronger, like, stat-wise or whatever. But there are a couple of unique things. Believe it or not, even though we've never seen a worm looking like that before, there are those worms, like, later on in the game, like, beyond the point of no return. Which is pretty cool. I'm just going to quickly refresh my stuff here. But there is something totally unique, and we'll get to that soon enough. Sadly, it's not the final boss here, but whatever. The Chimera Geist. Here's another ability here, Zombie Attack. This was locked away, I believe, in an earlier area of Whacker's grid. This inflicts zombie onto things, kind of weirdly placed again on the expert grid. Simply due to the fact that by the time zombie's really interesting, you can get it anyway, or enemies are coming zombied by default. Just kind of weird. You notice that guy went down in 2 hits and gives us 2 return spheres. May I remind you that for hours and hours of playing like Blitzball leagues, you may only have a chance at a return sphere or something. So yeah, pretty crazy reward. The Don Tonberry. This is from the Cavern of the Stolen Faith. And this guy is how you grind for AP in the game. Which, so I guess actually, let's flee from him. We'll do a fight with him later, when I explain to you guys how you get 99 sphere levels nice and quickly, so you can actually finish the sphere grid without going insane. It's still hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of work, but it's not as bad as it looks. So this guy is Mount Gagazet. It was unlocking this guy that gave us like the Blossom Crown for the Magus Sisters. And I'm pretty sure, guys, actually, that's every single ability in the game I've shown you now. Maybe mistaken, but I don't think I am. I think that's everything. We can now cast Auto Life ourselves as well, obviously. And so yeah, this guy will probably also cast Meteor or something when he dies. So it'll be interesting to see how much damage that does now that we all have like max defense. One thing I would have liked to have shown you guys was how like a mega weapon perhaps would, how dangerous he would feel now. But it literally would be, oh okay, Waka's turn, attack reels, he's dead. You know, like, and you could see why, okay? And even if he got a turn, that Ultima that one-shot me before wouldn't do anything. So there we go. Nobody's defending or anything. Here's Ultima as he dies. We don't have Shell on or anything like that, but we do have max magic defense. Let's see how much damage we take. About 300 damage. And we have 9,999 health. So, yeah. Really not a problem, eh? And that stuff would be one-shotting us under any other situation. Getting towards the end here, now Abaddon is the next enemy. Abaddon, I think IRL, Abaddon is like a god somewhere. I don't know, it was the name of a character in Lost as well, and that was the first time I was seriously looking into that. But yeah, this guy's a Varuna. You'll notice he's got a bunch of defensive stuff on him early. No haste at the start, like the ones in the Omega Dungeon, but whatever. I think Abaddon suits him as a name too. So remember, the reason why we're getting all these crits is enemies have a luck level, we have a luck level, our luck subtracted from their luck equals the percent chance we have. So if we have 75 luck and they have 25 luck, you take 25 from 75 is 50, which means we have a 50% chance to hit them all the time. My luck is high enough that we will crit every single hit. And finally, the final area conquest guy is the Volban, and this is for getting all the inside Sin stuff, I would assume, yes. So this enemy here is from some of the deeper areas inside Sin. You'll notice when we attack him, actually never mind, because we crit, I guess it doesn't happen. He's actually one of these defensive enemies that you would usually want piercing for, but because we got the final weapons, because we're critting all the time, he won't defend. You see he got an attack pretty early there, but again, this is just the way the fight started, and now we get a million turns before he gets another one. Overall, in the Monster Arena, the enemies that he creates... Okay, so I guess he's just countering. The enemy he creates for area conquest are the easiest ones to kill. Then after that, it's like the special hybrid things he creates from species conquest, so combining all the flans together. And then lastly, it's the original ones. My god, how have we been recording for 27 minutes already? This is going to take some time, okay? There's no beating around the bush. This is why a lot of LPs of Final Fantasy X, you don't see people come and do this stuff. Because they're hooked on the story and they just, you know, they want to finish it. But the thing is, as a player of the game, you would tend to find, oh, okay, I finished the story, but I want to keep playing, so you end up coming back and doing all this kind of stuff. Anyway, so let's move on to species conquest. Before we do that, though, let's break the pace a little. I'll show you guys the actual stat screen of my characters. So this is Whacker's stats. 255 is the max. If I was to go into a battle and use cheer a few times, I believe it will go higher. Don't quote me on that. I think I knew that a long time ago. But so he's got maximum strength, which is why he's hitting 99999 all the time. He's got maximum agility. Don't forget, because he's got the final weapon, he bypasses enemy defense too, so it doesn't matter how high their defense is, it just goes through. He has max defense himself. He has only 128 magic. This is about as high magic as you'll get just by going through the sphere grid by default, right? So if I just send Waka through the sphere grid, his stats don't actually all go to 255. To get them to 255, you have to use those clear nodes. and you have to remove all the crappy ones. So all these little stat things that don't get, like this thing here, raises magic by 1 point. You have to get rid of a lot of nodes like this. You have to clear them away and replace them with much more potent ones. And pretty much most of the default empty nodes on the grid have been filled up. So if you look here, right, do you guys remember when we started the game? This is where the sphere grid begins. A lot of these nodes were originally empty, right? Do you remember? But I filled them all up with HP spheres and stuff like that. So going through by default, you get around 100 on your stats. Going through and filling up all of the little nodes and stuff, that's the only way you get to 255. And if you want to get 255 for every single stat, and you want not 9,999 health, but 99,999 health, you have to do everything, and it becomes a real task in min-maxing and grind that takes a lot of effort. In fact, because the expert sphere grid, as you can see in its entirety here, because the expert sphere grid is actually a smaller grid than the standard grid, i.e. the standard grid has more empty nodes, it actually means if you want to min-max and get the best team with the highest stats in Final Fantasy X, it's better to use the standard grid because you get a bit more room. That said, you can max out everything on both grids, but you know, it's an interesting little quirk, right? So yeah, let's go back to the stats. Max strength, max defense, max agility. Not max magic because we don't care about max magic defense. We absolutely do care about that. His accuracy is max. So without having max accuracy, it can be very hard to hit enemies. There's one way you can go around that though. If you're lucky enough, because luck sort of counts as a means of accuracy, if you're lucky enough, you can actually hit a lot of the endgame enemies, even though they have really high evasion and you don't have much accuracy. So you can kind of combine. You'll notice my luck is around 106. This is because luck is so hard to get, as I've demonstrated through this LP. And so what I've done is I've got about 106 luck, but max accuracy and max evasion. And in this way, in essence, there's no chance I should miss anything except maybe one enemy. Okay, so that's sort of the way that works, and that's why my luck isn't maxed out. Over here, you'll see everyone else's stats are pretty much the same. Basically, it's just all maxed except luck and magic. Magic because you don't need it. Luck because it's very, very, very hard to do. So yeah. And the stats of the other people by comparison. Typical end game stats for Lulu here. 12 strength. 39 magic. These are like the kind of stats she had around the Yuna fight. High evasion because she was an evasive character. Auron, big hitter, right? All these big hits you saw him doing. That's only 79 strength, okay? And even his defense isn't that high. These are sort of typical endgame stats. These are insane, grind your ass off endgame stats so that you can beat the super bosses. Right. All of that said, let's go on. Complete another section, the species conquest. I'm determined to get the monster arena stuff done in one video at least, so don't worry, there'll be no nasty cuts. We're doing it, guys. I'm not scared of long ones. So this is the Fenrir.